I've been a pastor here in North County for over 20 years, and I know enough to know that for some of you, walking into a church is like walking into a library, like just be quiet and don't say anything I shouldn't say too loud. And I want you to know that if we could today, we would be sitting around Mike and Amanda's living room, because the goal today is to share stories about Ethan, not to be in some stuffy religious service. So even if you don't feel at home, I would like to say on behalf of our team here, make yourself at home. If you need to use the restrooms, they're outside. As we share stories today, if you feel like laughing, laugh. If you feel like crying, there's Kleenex boxes all over the place. We really want you to make yourself at home. Ethan wants us to celebrate his life. And yes, there will be tears, and there is grief, and there is sorrow, but also it's okay to laugh. It's okay to share in love, and I know that's what the family wants. On behalf of all of Ethan's family, thank you guys for the outpouring of support, not only reflected in how many of you are here today, but those of you that are joining us online and streaming with us right now. We wish you could be here in the room, but Micah and Amanda and all the family just wanted you to know what a massive outpouring of love and support and comfort they've received from all of you. And how many of you know this is the time where we as a community rally around families and we let them know we're with them, we're grieving with them, and we love you guys. I want to just say to all of you, thank you for entrusting us with such an important, painful moment of life for you. And my hope and prayer is that today, as we share stories about Ethan, that in the midst of your grief, there will also be some comfort from knowing that you are not grieving alone. We are with you. To that end, I want to just take a moment and pray, and then I'm going to invite Coach Graber up, and he's going to be the first of a few people that are going to come and share some stories. God, we thank you that you are here in the room. I pray, Lord, that your comfort and your peace would supernaturally rest on all of us who are here and cannot imagine life going forward without Ethan. Lord, I ask that in the touch of our family members, the close comfort of hugs and sharing stories and crying together, that you would be present in such a powerful way that we would know that you are here, that you are real, that you care about this grief. And Lord, only you are the one that can bring healing and comfort. And so we ask for that in Jesus' name. Amen. Coach.
Okay. So those of you that do know me know that I can normally talk a lot, but for the first time in my life, I was having the toughest time putting words together. Those who don't know me, my name is Justin Graber. I have many jobs. I'm a coordinator at the YMCA. I'm a teacher and a head baseball coach at San Pasqual High School, and I've coached for the past 8 years at the North County Mavs, where I had the pleasure of getting to be Ethan Beef Baratow's coach. When my younger kids at the YMCA ask me what I teach, I've always kind of jokingly said life, to avoid boring them with my many titles. The truth is, while I experience teaching in many different places, I feel myself doing the same work, just through different lenses. I work hard to mold good athletes and students, but I care most about fostering good and successful human beings. The basis of how I try to do this is twofold. One, learn how to connect with yourself and with others. And two, to steal a famous quote from Coach Brad, try to get 1% better every day. These are things that I got to see Ethan do incredibly well with our time together. The best example of connection that I got to see this with was with Carter Sy. Coach Burke and Coach Jose and I still give Coach Chano a hard time because coaches aren't supposed to have favorites, but you two were by far and away Coach Chano's favorite Mavs that he's ever had. I got to understand why Chano feels that way when I coached you guys, because I got to see them not only play some incredible baseball together, but I got to see their almost telepathic connection when it came to anything ridiculous or funny. Synced dual smiles were very common. clear from all of you here that Ethan connected well in many different areas of his life. As for the 1% better every day, I think that what I'm learning is that while this may seem small or insignificant, it can accumulate to be very powerful, but it can also be more difficult than expected at times. I feel this way about our young people today as the world continues to get much less simple every single day. Out of everything I do, baseball is my passion. I have a little sister, and so in a way, my ball players are the little brothers that I never had. Unfortunately, this is the second of my boys that I've lost in the past 2 years. I've experienced different types of loss in my life, but nothing compares to the loss of a ball player who became a brother. I see a lot of my boys out there, and I just want to remind you all that no matter what, you'll always be my boys, and I've got you. I don't think that Ethan leaving us is for us to ever fully understand, but I do know it has brought us all together for this reason. It takes a village to raise a child. We are always and have always been in this together, and that is important because we need each other more now than ever. Because while we're all connected in so many ways today, we're more disconnected than ever. Ethan was a great kid with lots of friends who came from an awesome family who I know and I've seen with my own 2 eyes loved him very much. And yet all I can think about is how much harder it is to be a kid today than it has ever been. I've lived in this community my entire life. It is the reason why I wanted to get back into working with the youth. I had the best teachers, the best coaches, and best community of families that all helped me become the man I am today. In this difficult time, I'm proud to see our community come together to lift up not only the Beartowes, but each other. Young people here, know that you are seen, you are heard, and you are loved immensely. Thank you to all my Mavs families who have become a part of my own tribe, and thank you to the Beartowes for giving me this honor to speak today. I appreciate you.
Hi. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Jack Mattiota. When I first met Beef, I knew that we were going to have an amazing friendship. I met Beef from my soccer team in school. He had just moved down from Northern California before 3rd grade. When I met Ethan, he always had this hyper and outgoing personality that everyone loves, and is an athletic, kind, smart, and exciting kid. Once we started soccer, it was so much fun. He's such a great athlete. Beef, myself, and Hudson Tweed carried our team to the finals in soccer. He is a fantastic goalie, and it was clear we were going to win the chip. But he cut his foot open while he was in Cabo, and he had to get stitches, so he lost. Knowing Beef, he still wanted to play, and even though he had stitches in his foot. That shows how committed and dedicated he is to his sports and his friendships. We continued with soccer and also played a lot of basketball. He's a talented and hardworking player. He made basketball so much fun for everyone. We played on so many teams with all our friends and would have the best time playing against each other. When he played basketball or pretty much any sport, he was passionate and aggressive about the game. But I've never seen a kid tackle opposing players so much in a basketball game before. My friends and I all had a lot of fouls that season, but we really made the game fun. We continue to make so much more memories together and had tons of good times. One of my favorite memories is when I took him deep sea fishing. It was an overnight trip to San Clemente Island. That night, I think he had no sleep because when I woke up in the middle of the night, he was staring endlessly into me. In the morning, we had a great time, and he caught so many fish for the first time doing it. Beef is always a natural whatever he does and always finds a way to make it fun for everyone. We went on bike rides together and explored every inch of La Costa and have found pretty much every source of water. We took on mountain biking and had some funny clips of us hitting jumps and then also eating it. We started off with cheap Walmart bikes and destroyed them immediately, then upgraded to bikes that could support us. We thought we were so good, and Beef would make these edits to our rides and jumps we have been hitting. On the ends of our rides, we drained hundreds of dollars at 7-Eleven. We would get Hostess donuts and Bang energy drinks and feel like we couldn't move after we ate that much. As some of you may know, I like this topic and think food is an essential part to our daily hangouts. But I know Beef right now is calling me a fat ass here because I'm talking about food and how important it is to me in a speech or hymn. But that is a huge part of Beef. He always had his joking personality, but he also cared so much about others. Beef and I developed a brother-like friendship and made so many memories that I'll never forget. Beef was always there for me and would do anything to help me and support me in achieving my goals. Beef is one of my closest friends, and I could always count on him. We would see each other every day and make the most of our time together. He had a huge impact on everyone he met and knew. He was so good at personality traits to describe him: fun, smart, loyal, caring, and stylish, with his fitteds, dunks, and Jordans. He is so special to everyone. He has a spot in all of our hearts and will never be forgotten. I will do anything to hang out with him just one more time. So Beef, if you're listening to this right now, I just want to tell you I love you, brother, and may you forever rest in peace.
Hello all. My name is Tyler Brand, and for 6 years, I had the distinct honor of having Ethan's aunt Jennifer in my life. Over that time, I was blessed to get to know Ethan, the Baratos, the Maldonados, and his loving grandmother, Terry. I first met Ethan when he was 6, up in Sunnyvale. I was struck by how outgoing, brave, and adventurous he was, even at such a young age. A year later, Terry, Amanda, Micah, and their family moved to San Diego. From there, I got to truly know not only Ethan, but the whole family. In fact, they very much made me feel a part of their family, and for that I will be forever grateful. When thinking of Ethan, so many things come to mind. His love of baseball and soccer, his interest in video games, whether late-night Tetris competitions against 99 others across the world, or playing the old-school Nintendo. Going with him, Micah, and Jacob to watch Thor Ragnarok back in 2017. Late night Black Friday shopping so he could secure that special deal he had his eye on. Ice skating in a fire pit with s'mores afterwards with his family at Hotel Del. Easter brunches, Thanksgiving and Christmas together. Birthdays. Everyone had their own unique view and story of Ethan. He was a loving son, a committed and giving nephew, a bright, energetic, and kind friend. Here are some memories shared by some of his family, bright moments that bring a smile of time shared and loved. From Jennifer, his love of candy and sugar of all types, the amazing quality time and laughs they had together making Halloween costumes. He loved the Guardians of the Galaxy, and she took it upon herself to make him his perfect Rocket Raccoon costume. Another year, she made him a beef taco costume. We all understand that. Ethan, of course, known as Beef to his friends, family, everyone who knew him, really. In testament to that, Jen got a tattoo of a beef taco on her wrist just this past week. To always keep him close and only need look down to smile and remember those amazing times together. From his family, he will be remembered for his love of sports, mountain biking, skateboarding, surfing, hiking, for his MLB hat collection, his love of the Warriors and Giants, his meticulous array of shoes and Jordans, and his love of not only candy, but bread too. We know his close friends will appreciate this shout out from him. So as a small remembrance, don't be afraid to toast up, it's baguette time, next time you dive into a roll or a croissant. Ethan always gave his all in sports, school, his friendships, and his bonds with family. He was always pushing forward, always asking the best of himself. In that way, he pushed us to always be better and rise to his level. Each of us have tangible, amazing memories of who Ethan was and the joy he brought into our lives each and every day. As we go forward with uncertainty and this sense of loss of such an incredible young man, use those memories of the happy times together as a rock. Let yourself remember, sit with the feelings of joy, of brotherhood, of camaraderie and competition. Shed a tear, crack a smile, laugh out loud at the top of your lungs. All of it, every piece, is a small gift to him and the love that he gifted into your life. Goodbye, Beef. Thank you so much for letting me know you. I will always love you. Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jill Van Ness, and I'm a teacher at San Alejo Middle School, and I have had the pleasure of being both Aaliyah and Ethan's teacher. I met Aaliyah when she moved here from the Bay Area, and in walked this super sweet, blonde-haired, small, stylish student who turned out to be super smart and creative. And I loved her right away. And I would joke around with her and say, San Francisco's loss is San Diego's gain. And she would always smile at me, no matter if my jokes were funny or not. And her kindful and thoughtful ways are a reflection on her family. I would always admire these jelly shoes that she had. She would wear these cute red and navy plastic jelly shoes, and at the end of the school year, as teachers, we get a lot of gifts, and we usually get gift cards, Starbucks gift cards, and really nice notes, but at the end of the year, she brought me a pair of those shoes that I commented on, and that was just a reflection on how amazing the Barreto family is and how wonderful they are. So naturally, when Aaliyah was moving on to high school, I said, hey, do you have any brothers or sisters that are coming through to middle school? And lucky for me, she said, yeah, I have a younger brother. So I thought, score. If this second Barreto child was anything like the first, I definitely wanted him in one of my classes. So to my surprise, Ethan signed up for my ASB class the following year, and I was stoked. Another Barreto kid, and I thought, yeah, we're gonna rock this year, because I taught ASB, and ASB handles all of the fun events on campus, and we were gonna have so much fun, but then COVID hit, and we were all not going back to school. We were gonna do school through Zoom on our computers. And we made the best of a really odd situation, but Ethan even made it entertaining for us. Especially for me, I'll never forget one day when we all logged into Zoom, and Ethan said he had a surprise, and it was like, what could this surprise be? And this sweet boy all of a sudden brings Aaliyah onto the Zoom call, and I see both of their little faces smiling out at me, and they're like, hey, Miss Van Ness. And it's one of those moments when you just thank God that you're a teacher, because to see something as special as that, the relationship that these two share, is something that everyone wishes for their own family. I remember thinking that day. I also remember thinking, what was Aaliyah doing in my class? She needs to get back to her own high school class. And they needed to stop joking around together. I'm going to tell you now a story that's really difficult for me to tell. It was midday on Wednesday, June 8th, when our Principal Zia announced that we were going to have a special emergency meeting after school. We never have emergency meetings. It's when something very, very serious has happened. So naturally, I called another teacher to see what was going on, and she said that a student named Ethan in 8th grade had passed away. And I immediately went down to the yearbook teacher's classroom, because she has a database that holds all the students' names on campus. And I asked her to please look up all the Ethans, and she did right away. And she pulled up about 6 Ethans, and 2 of them no longer attended the school. The first name on the list that left 4 Ethans left was Ethan Barito. And I told her, no, skip it. It's not him. Go to the next name. And the remaining Ethans, she told me, were in 6th and 7th grade. He was the only Ethan in 8th grade that matched that criteria. And I told her, no, it is not him. I just saw him the other day. It is not Ethan. He's a very happy, sweet boy. And she looked at me and said, Jill, I'm pretty sure it is. So I ran over to the front office and I asked her to confirm if the emergency meeting was regarding Ethan Barito. And they told me, yes, it was. And I proceeded to go into my classroom. I felt like the wind was knocked out of me, and I proceeded to cry tears of sadness that I could not believe that this funny and sweet, vibrant boy was gone. And right now, I still find it hard to process. I'm going to leave with one last story. I want to finish with one last story dedicated to all the students that are here with us today. On the last day of school, my students were seated in my classroom getting ready to walk for promotion. And on this day that was supposed to be filled with happiness and joviality, I looked out at my students and at all their sad, teary-eyed faces, and you could hear a pin drop in the classroom. With pink flowers pinned all their formal dresses and button-down shirts and the number 35 tattooed on their arms and hands, I thought how quickly the students had united for Ethan. In school, especially in a middle school, you have a lot of division over friend groups and gender issues and popularities and other things, but for once we all stood together in a tragedy that had rocked and shocked us to our core. And I looked out at my students crying and wet, confused faces filled with sadness, and I did not know what to say to them because I felt the same thing. And as we stared at each other with tears in our eyes and crumpled Kleenex in our hands, I asked my students to rise up on this day and do the hard thing that was expected of them. I asked them to rise up not only because they deserve to be proud of themselves, but to rise up in tribute of Ethan. And that is what I continue to ask of you today. When you rise and leave here today, I ask that you continue to remember Ethan for who he was and always will be, and keep that Ethan you remember true to you and in your heart. I miss him, and I know you all do too. Thank you.
For those of you that don't know me, my name is Sonny Merlo, and I too have had the honor and privilege of coaching Ethan over the last couple years. As a coach, we try not to have favorites, and I do love all my players, but connections with players are based on different things. Sometimes it's talent, sometimes it's common ground, sometimes it's humor. And Ethan and I definitely connected on the humor. His wit, his charm, and his smile made that easy. And most of all, his great sense of humor. I often would use wit to ease the tension during games. And coaching 13 and 14-year-old boys provides plenty of opportunities to get really good at it. Ethan and I were able to bond over a lot of those moments. One of them in particular, we happened to be playing a tournament up north. We had made it all the way to the championship game on Sunday, and we had used up all of our pitching. So I went to Ethan, and I said, "Do you think you can do this?" Without hesitation, he answered, "Well, I haven't pitched in a long time, but I'll give it a shot." So that's what we did. We were matched up against a team that had players that looked like they had driven themselves to the game and shaved on a daily basis. Ethan was cruising along through the game when their third baseman, kid was 6'2", 180 pounds, hit a ball harder and farther than I had ever seen a ball hit at a 13-year-old level. It cleared a 300-foot fence and rattled off the bathroom roof of a building about 100 feet beyond that fence. So I did what every coach would do in that situation in order to calm the nerves of my pitcher. I walked out to the mound, And I looked at him, and the classic words of Crash Davis in Bull Durham were the only thing that came to my mind. And I said, anything that moves that fast and travels that far should have a stewardess on it, don't you think? And that slow smile of his came across his face. And in that moment, and from that moment on, we were forever connected in an unbelievable way. He went on to finish the game, and our team managed to pull off the win that day. And over the last couple of weeks, I've often thought about Ethan, and those moments come to my mind. And I smile, and I find comfort in that. And when I first heard what had happened, I went through all the emotions of shock, disbelief, grief, and even anger as I tried to wrestle with all of them. But God put on my heart to remember those times and to realize just how blessed I really am to have known Ethan and have him a part of my life. And for this, I am eternally grateful. So Micah and Amanda, thank you very much for the honor of coaching your son. Thank you.
Hey everybody, my name's Christian Kelly. I'm Garrett's dad. Amanda, Micah, Aaliyah, Jacob, and to the immediate Barito family, thank you for giving this incredible honor for speaking to you today. It's something I'll carry with me forever. So Garrett and Ethan met in 3rd grade when the Baritos moved down from Northern California and quickly became good friends. As all parents do, Tracy and I were like, who is this kid? Who are their parents? What are they about? Little did we know that an amazing bond formed at that very moment. I would almost call it a bromance or a family mance. I don't know what you would call it. Over the years, Ethan was an extension of our family, with constant sleepovers, family trips, and plenty of shared sports team memories. I'll never forget All-Star through LCYO baseball season. I think the boys were in 4th grade. And, as most, dads, the kids playing sports, and they make the all-star team, you're really proud of them, when you go and you show up and play catch. I mean, you take all those moments and, you just try not to take it for granted. But I will never, ever forget the first time I saw Ethan swing the bat. So clean, so natural, it was Barry Bonds-like. And look, I'm not just saying that. I've told Micah this before. Just something that I will never forget. Sometimes a kid starts a sport or plays a sport for the first time and they just get it. That was Ethan. And we're not talking just baseball, by the way. As Jack had mentioned, amazing soccer player. I coached him in basketball a few seasons, which I'm going to get into in a minute. Great surfer, swimmer, you name it. One of the things that I take joy in, anytime he played baseball, he played a sport, he would always get dirty or be on the ground because he played so hard. He went after it, right? And as a father and ex-sports, meathead, whatever you want to call it, I think we can all appreciate that, right? So he truly did live, his fullest. So really quick, I just wanted to, I mean, I know Jason said just a few minutes, but I'm sorry, it's going to be just a few more minutes. So February, March 2018, I was coaching the boys in a basketball league, and it was based out of Stagecoach, and there was essentially Calavera Hills and Stagecoach, 5th, 6th grade level. Baxter Johansky's mom, Katie, and I were coaching, and we had an incredible season. I mean, it was so much fun. The interesting part is that each game that is played on Saturdays, at both Calavera Hills Gym and Stagecoach, they track the score, and so being competitive, we would always check the scores, and we kept noticing that there was this one team that was just killing all the other teams by 25, 30 points a game. And as the season progressed, we finished, somewhere first or second place. And the way the playoffs work is you play a couple games at the Stagecoach Gym, and you get through the brackets with your local gym. And then the finals, or semifinals and finals, are played at Calavera Hills. And so, of course, we played that first semifinal game, and I got to tell you guys, it was a grudge match. It was a really, it was an exciting game. I'll never forget it. We were losing by 1 point, 21-20. 2 seconds left in the game, and we were on our offensive side of the court. I remember Baxter going up along the baseline with misses. The other team gets the rebound, and I'm telling you, 1 second left now. As he's coming down, Ethan rips the ball out of his hand with authority. And I just watched the video again yesterday just to make sure the story was accurate. It's been a few years. Rips the ball out of his hand and immediately goes up, fouled by 2 players. What does that mean? We're down by 1. He gets to go to the free throw line with 1 second left. He misses the first shot. And I remember he did this. I watched it yesterday. And he drains the second shot. So now we're going into overtime. I'll never forget that day, those moments, those memories. We ended up going into overtime. 20 seconds left in overtime, Ethan fouls out. And the reason I share that with you, because in basketball, if you go through an entire game and you almost foul out, a coach couldn't ask for more. That means you battled. That means you went all out every second. That's what you wanted. 20 seconds left, he fouls out. We end up winning that first semifinal game. A couple hours later, everybody shows up about 30 minutes before the tip-off, and I'm freaked out because I'm like, God, this guy's been beating everybody by 30 points, but we're trying to keep you don't want the boys to see that, right? So we get there, the boys wanted to size him up, and of course they've got a kid that's 6'4", super athletic, and I'm like, well, there you go. That explains why they're crushing everybody. So I'm sitting there, Kate and I are sitting there, we're like, okay, here we go. This is how we're gonna do this. Okay, we're gonna do 4 zone, 1 guy's free. Guess who played the free guy? Beef. You know why? Typically the most athletic kid on your team defensively should probably cover their best player. Now, the kid was 6'4", that didn't work, that part of the plan didn't work out perfectly, okay? But the point is, Ethan was like, I got him. Didn't even, he enjoyed it. He enjoyed it. At halftime, we were losing by 14. We made a few adjustments. We came back and won by 5, and it was a memory that makes me smile. It was special. It'll always be etched in our minds forever. Back to the presentation or speech, okay? As the boys get older, Tracy and I soon realized that Beef seamlessly became an extension of our family. Selfishly, when Beef was at our place with our family, it was amazing, and I'll tell you why. I've got a younger boy named Declan who's 8, and a middle son named Liam who's 12, and obviously Garrett who's 15. You know why it was amazing? Because we didn't have to deal with the bickering and fighting. When Ethan was there, Garrett and Ethan were playing, and our little guys were off playing. And if Garrett tried to mess with his little brothers, Ethan would be like, leave him alone, your dad's gonna kick your butt. We could always trust that when Garrett and Ethan were around, that Garrett was gonna be okay. And I'll tell you why. If we said, Garrett, you gotta be home by 8 o'clock, and he was riding his e-bike or whatever with Ethan, I guarantee you at 7:50, he would say, hey, Garrett, we got 10 minutes, we got to get home. He was analytical, he was on his game. Very, very intelligent kid. It was the little things, right? Countless memories, as I had said, sleepovers with the Barritos and Kellys, beach trips, surf trips, Hawaii, snowboarding. Memories that aren't going anywhere. Okay. As you know, Beef is the youngest of 3. But in some weird way, I kind of feel like he enjoyed being a little bit of a big brother to Liam and Declan. And these are things that I haven't shared, but there were times that I would go in the backyard and Beef's giving him secrets of his swing. Declan loves baseball too. Or times when Ethan and Liam were wrestling in the trampoline. Or I'd catch a little, hey, Liam, you want to jump in my squad later in Fortnite? Because Liam's a really good builder. So just the little things that I'll never forget. So in closing, what I'll share is that quick note to Ethan. Ethan, the Kellys love you more than you will ever know. We couldn't be more proud of all your accomplishments. Thank you for being such a rad, kind, honest, mature, and loving brother and friend to us. In closing, I just want to share something really quick. One of the hardest conversations I've ever had to have in my life was with my 8-year-old Declan. He's an intelligent little guy, and he knew something was not right, So a few days after June 8th, we kept him over at his friend's house, and we've got a really great circle of support and friends that were just happy to take him. So for a few days, they took him. And I knew Trace and I had a couple days, and we were like, we gotta tell him what's going on, just a little. We gotta give him as much as we can, right? We can't hide this from him. So Trace had asked him to write it, just put his feelings on paper, put his emotions on paper. What he had wrote a few days after June 8th was this. This is part of the note. To Beef, from Declan. Did you know my favorite color is pink too? We are really, really, really sad that you died. But in me, you were still alive. To me, that was a very important moment in our healing process, with all the pain, the confusion, the sadness. That's something that I think that knowing Ethan is alive in us is something that we can carry with us forever. When you think of Ethan, when you see a picture of him, maybe his name pops up in a conversation. Maybe you see the number 35 or even a pink flower. Do everything you can to smile tears, happy tears. Just know that he's with you, he's alive in us. To Amanda, Micah, Leah, and Jacob, you have a whole community behind you. Okay? We love you. Thank you.
I'm Michael Fogelstrom. I was Ethan's cousin. He was like a nephew to me. Thank you, everybody, for coming up here and sharing your stories and your kind words. It's a lot I'm going to take with me about Beef from today, and I'm going to carry it close. In looking at this room, it's clear that Ethan means so much to so many people. There are some here today that knew Ethan from birth. Family and friends from his early childhood in the Bay Area, his baseball teams here in Carlsbad, school friends. He was a student, a friend, a teammate, a nephew, a son, a grandson, a brother. He was Ethan, Beef, Beefy, Beef Taco. Ethan wore 1,000 hats, literally and figuratively. We know he was a talented athlete, a beloved student, a cherished friend. When I think of Ethan, one thing comes to mind, and that's family. Ethan loved family gatherings, time around the dinner table, watching games, hanging out with his little cousins, playing catch. Yet when I recall family gatherings in my teen years, it's cringeworthy. I don't know many teens who would honestly volunteer to spend time with their family. I know I wouldn't have, but I know Beef would be raising his hand right now. I can't think of a time when Ethan wasn't with the family at events, laughing, smiling, genuinely engaging with everyone. I saw him on every trip when I came down here. And I'm guessing most of the parents of Ethan's friends know this about him too. He was altruistic, he was entrepreneurial, he was funny. To this day, there's a grown man walking around Switzerland affectionately dubbed Underpants by a 2-year-old Beef Taco. I'm so glad we've heard from so many people today, giving us just a small glimpse into all that Ethan was to us. Knowing him, all of us here have stories and memories that capture him in our own way. I know so many people paid tribute to Ethan's sky, and that's what he'll always be to me. I'll call him to mind any time I catch those lustrous blooms of pink and coral in a sunset, when the final moments of the day melt into the horizon. Ethan is a rising star in our sky, spilling his light and colors into the atmosphere for all of us to enjoy. We love you, Ethan.
My name's Tim. I recently met Micah at a lot of the musical venues I play at. I am also a Bay Area transplant and a Rabid Giants fan. I have a song he requested to play in Ethan's honor. Would you know my name heaven, would it be the same if I saw you in heaven? I must be strong and carry on, 'cause I know I don't belong here in heaven. Would you hold my hand if I saw you in heaven? Would you help me stand if I saw you in heaven? I'd find my way through night and day, 'cause I know I just can't stay here in heaven. Life can take you down, bring you to your knees. Life can break your heart, leave you begging, please, begging, please. Would you know my name if I saw you in heaven? Would it be the same if I saw you in heaven? Behind the door, there's peace, I'm sure, and I know there'll be no more tears in heaven.
Someday raindrops like a lemon drops high above the chimney top. That's where you find me, oh, somewhere over the rainbow, way up high. The dream that you dare to, why, oh why can I
How long will I love you? As long as stars are above you, and longer if I can. How long will I need you? As long as the seasons need to follow their plan. How long will I be with you? As long as the sea is bound to wash upon the sand. How long will I want you? As long as you want me to, and longer by far. How long will I hold you? As long as your father told you, as long as you can. How long will I give to you? As long as I live through you. However long you say. How long will I love you? As long as stars are above you, and longer if I may. How long will I love you? As long as stars are above you.
Watching through my fingers, watching through my fingers.
Shuts my eyes and count to 10. It goes in one ear out the other, one ear out the other. Burning bright right till the end. Now you'll be missing from the photographs, missing from the photographs.
Watching through my fingers, watching through my fingers.
In my thoughts you're far away. You are whistling a melody, whistling a melody. Crystallizing clear as day. Oh, I can picture you so easily, picture you so easily. What's gonna be left of the world if you're not in it? What's gonna be left of the world? Oh, every minute and every hour, I miss you, I miss you, I miss you more. Every stumble and each misfire, I miss you, I miss you, I miss you more.
Watching through my fingers, watching through my fingers.
Caught off guard by your favorite song, I've been dancing them, but shame we have to see them. But what's gonna be left of the world if you're not in it? What's gonna be left of the world? Oh. Every minute and every hour, I miss you, I miss you, I miss you more. Every stumble and each misfire, I miss you, I miss you, I miss you more.
If you want to be a partier, you have to learn to live in the jungle. Now stop worrying and go and get dressed.
You might have to excuse me. I've lost control of all of my senses. You might have to excuse me. I've lost control of all of my words. So get drunk, call me a fool. Put me in my place, put me in my place. Pick me up off the floor. Put me in my place, put me in my place. Every minute and every hour, I miss you, I miss you, I miss you more. Every stumble and each misfire, I miss you, I miss you, I miss you more. Watching through my fingers, watching through my fingers. 'Cause every minute and every hour, I miss you, I miss you, I miss you more.
You can feel the love for his family in that video. My name is Ben, and I get the honor and privilege of being one of the youth pastors here at the church. And this last week, I got to spend some time with the Berto family, and I couldn't leave with anything less than having an understanding of how important, intrinsic, and valuable he was to so many people. I think it's a testimony today, looking at this room, how much of an impact this young man made, and the ability he had to make connections between the young, hanging out with his little cousins and learning dumb songs and dances to entertain them, to hearing the impact he had on parents and grandparents. I was having coffee with a father this last week, and he had said something to me that I'd heard 3 different times over the last week, and it was this, that Ethan's ability to connect and make relationship with people was rare and something he had not seen before. And I feel like today, there are so many things that we might think back to over the last moments we had with him that would maybe bring pain or sorrow, but today I believe that there is hope and encouragement that is offered to each and every one of us. I was talking to his sister, and this is something that I know for parents in the room of teenagers, you know is rare and a miracle, that at family gatherings, Ethan was always present and never on his phone. And if you parent anyone under the age of 18, you know that is a very, very important trait. As Aaliyah said, he was just down for anything. Late night Trader Joe's runs for snacks, or just down for bike rides. Today, we could spend countless hours having conversations and hearing stories, and I think that is a testimony to the connection he made with each and every one of us. We honor Ethan's life, his impact, and his deep relationships today. But as his mother was talking with me, there were some traits, some characteristics, and some things that, to the young people in attendance today, I want to share with you. Because I believe that there are things from Ethan's life that he has left us that are going to be vital for our journey moving forward. Today, community means so much more than just people that go to our school, than just faces in a hallway, than just someone on our team. But today, community needs to mean more than what we say, but who we are. That we are going to be people that love well. We're going to be people that seek those who are hurting. We're going to be people that love, and that we take the love that Ethan gave us and that we felt, and that we carry it forward to our school. That many of you will be entering high school next year, and you have the opportunity to live for Ethan, and the legacy that he gave you and to make an impact in the people around you. I think Ethan is a shining example of how impactful and influential a good friend, a generous spirit, and what a smile can do to a community. In a world of division, pain, and hurting people that we are all aware of, we have an opportunity as a young generation to bring change through the form of love. The love you felt from this incredible young man should push you to carry it forward, not to take each other for granted, but treat each other as the gifts that we are. Every day is precious. No moment is too small. And I heard this quote, and I believe it reigns so true through Ethan's life. That the impact that you make is not always in what you say, but it's in how you make people feel. And I would encourage you, young people, that any person that you come into contact with over the next year and for the rest of your life, that the feeling they would receive from you is love. Ethan's mother shared with me how generous he was. He even explained it as radical generosity. His mom said he was a give the shirt off his own back type of young man, that he always thought of others, even when it came to small things like carrying his mom's bags and water bottles as she left for work for her without being asked, or sharing his food with everyone even though they didn't want to try it. I think as a young person, we often think we have to wait till we have money or we wait till we have a job to be generous. But his mother said something that stuck with me, that Ethan's generosity surpassed just monetary things, but Ethan was generous with his time. Time is precious and it's not promised. So we need to make the most of it in this time by loving the people in your life to the fullest. This quote spoke to me as well, that death is such a challenge, but it tells us not to waste time. It tells us to tell each other right now that we love each other. Now today you probably find yourself brokenhearted, hurting, confused, maybe feeling pain. But I want you to know that you are not alone. You need to know that there is a hope. I told Ethan's friends earlier this week, and I want to share it with you as well, that Psalms 34:18 says this, that the Lord is close to the brokenhearted. He rescues those whose spirits are crushed. And I'm not super smart or a theologian, but I'm very aware of the fact that pain is a part of all of our lives. And in my own life, I can honestly say that out of the deepest pain has come the strongest convictions that God is near and that He loves me. The loss you feel will always have a space in your heart, but that is because we lost an incredible young man in our community. But I've learned something about pain, that pain has a way of making room for compassion. And now that you have the opportunity, I would encourage you to allow space for compassion to rise up for yourself and for other people. Our schools need it, the city needs it, our generation needs it. God is with us, God loves you, and He's near to those in pain. If there's a time to love your friends, it's now. If there's a time to love your family, it's now. If there's time to give your parents a hug, it's now. To show kindness to your school, it's now. Every life has value, every life is precious. And in honor of Ethan's life, I would encourage you to live yours, leading with love. Today we have a mixture of different people with different backgrounds and different contexts, and I understand that. But I believe truly that God is close to us in times like this, that He has a way of using pain to rewrite a beautiful story in our life. And young people, if I could encourage you with one last thing, it's that you can never, never love the people around you enough. Do not take for granted what you have. Do not take for granted how blessed you are. And I'm believing that God is going to use each and every one of you to change the scope of this city. And we honor Ethan's life today because I know he's made such a grand impact on you. And I want you to know that you're not alone in this, that you have people around you who care for you and love for you. So accept it, embrace it, and love other people well. Thank you very much.
Today is a whole day long celebration of Ethan's life, and we're coming to the end of this part. And before we dismiss in just a moment and invite you to go outside for some donuts, I don't think it's Bang. I think it's a BYO Bang day, so you hopefully have your own Bang with you, but we got sodas and snacks and stuff out there. I want to just say this. I want to give some unsolicited advice to those of you that are friends, family members, or maybe just acquaintances, maybe just people that barely know the Baritow family. Oftentimes we don't reach out because we're afraid, we don't know what to say, and we don't want to say the wrong thing. But can I just challenge you and commission you to remember, whether it's 2 weeks, 2 months, or 2 years from now, if any one of the members of the family come to mind, just shoot them a text. Just say, I'm here for you. We're grieving with you. Those of you that have faith, pray for them whenever it comes to mind. Reach out. It's better, I can tell you, I've been on the other side of grief. It's better to have somebody reach out and say they're there, even if they stumble over their words and not really sure what to say. This family deeply needs to be reminded of how loved they are, and I hope today you guys can feel that. You are so loved in our community. When our daughter who went to La Costa Meadows with Ethan heard about this, you could just see this, the same thing all of us are feeling. You guys are so loved. Your family is deeply loved in this community, and I hope that you can, in the midst of your grief, feel even just a little bit of that. So on behalf of Micah and Amanda and Jacob, Leah, the whole family, they want you to be a part of this celebration today. At 4:30 today, we're going to be meeting down at Ponto Beach. There will be a paddle out at 5:30. Everyone is welcome. When we go outside on the patio in a moment, you'll notice there's a LED screen and a TV in the lobby, LED screen out there with more slides. A lot of you sent in photos, and they just want you to know how precious that is. Every single photo that you've sent in means a lot to them, and we'll be running that on a slideshow outside. Please feel free on behalf of our church to hang out as long as you want out there and enjoy time hugging each other and just remembering all the great things, sharing stories. I know if we opened the mic up and allowed you to all come up and share, we would be here until midnight. So take the time to do that out there. Also, the family did something really unique that you'll find outside some tables with some pieces of paper for you to write down memories of Beef and just whatever story you might have. And we're going to compile those and put that together for the family so that they can hear from you personally, even though they may not be able to spend time with you today. So having said that, I'm going to invite you to stand with me. I'm going to read one more verse of scripture, and then we're going to pray and wrap up. Psalm 23 says, "The Lord is my shepherd. I have all that I need. He lets me rest in green meadows, and he leads me beside peaceful streams. He renews my strength, and he guides me along right paths. Even when I walk through the darkest valley, I will not be afraid, for you are close to me. Your rod and your staff protect me and comfort me. My cup overflows with blessings. Surely goodness and unfailing love will pursue me all the days of my life, and I will live in the house of the Lord forever." God, many of us here need your love and your faithfulness and kindness to pursue us. Lord, I pray over the Baritow family. Lord, as they walk through the valley of the shadow of death right now, as they go through this season of life, experiencing waves of grief and sorrow and emotion, we pray your blessing and your comfort over them. God, I pray that in a way that only you know how to do, that you would show yourself real to them on a regular basis, that they would know that they are loved, not only by this great community, but they are loved by you. Lord, I lift each one of them before you today and ask, God, that in your hands they would feel that they have a shepherd leading and guiding them. Lord, I pray for every student and young person in the room right now whose heart is aching and broken. God, would you meet them today? Lord, would they know that you are real and that you are with them and that you are for them? And I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen. Young people, just so you know, when we head out the door in just a second, if you want someone to talk to for a moment, if you want someone to pray with you, we're going to have some pastors and some youth leaders standing over here on the side of the room. When everyone heads out, feel free to come over here for a second. If you just need a hug or have a question, Ben will be over there, our youth pastor, and some other folks. Otherwise, enjoy some time together. The family will be out there to meet you on the patio in a few minutes. Thank you so much for coming today, and may God bless you.